Hello and welcome to a tutorial video, and we're going to calculate the amount of times the price of silver has held significant levels using monthly data and a 100% gain. So how often it holds between $1 and under 2, between a 2 and under 4, then to 8, etc., etc. Well, there's only 2 etceteras, that'd be 16 and 32. Before we begin, I want to go over a very quick program I made when I was probably around 11 or 12, and it was very quick. It's for the Commodore 64, and we'll just type it in. We're trying to look at the sum of how many numbers. So, sum of what number we'll put in. And within this program, I would make this 10 input sum of what number, so the program would come up. Okay, you write in the number, and then you put a code in 20 for a is equal to 1 to sum, which is basically doing a loop. And then we'll just put a whatever variable. B is equal to b plus a, and then 40 next a, and 50 print b. That's the program. So what this program would do would ask you for a sum. So say you put in 120. And then now 20 is equal to A to sum. So it's doing a sum of 120 different numbers if you selected 120. B, which starts off at 0, is equal to B, which is 0 plus A. So 0 plus 1 is 1. And then it goes next. So now this is equal to 2, so the loop is equal to B plus A, so B is equal to 1, so 1 plus 2 is 3, and that would get you the sum. So that's a very quick program that would have been used within the Commodore 64 basic language. We're using a spreadsheet. This is Open Office, and this is the data for silver. Monthly data from 1968 all the way to current, which is April of 2012, so 534 cells, really 532 different months. So we want to find out how much it stays above significant levels. So we're going to put in 1, and we'll just, on the left beside this I, we're going to take this number and multiply it by 2. So that's 2, and we'll copy and paste it really to 32, because the next one after that is 64, and silver hasn't not only held above it, it hasn't even tested it. So we'll paste it all the way over, and this is where we're going to be counting how it holds the level. So in here, I know every single price is above $1. Therefore, if it's below 2, then it's going to be correct. So if I put equals F, and I'm going to take the lowest price. Usually when you look at the open, high, low, close, the first number is the open, the second is the highest, the third is the lowest, and the final is the close. So this is the lowest price, and it's got to be less than 2. So if this number is less than 2, then give me a 1 to say it's correct and 0 incorrect, sort of like binary. And as you can see, that would be the case. So now we want to know if it's held above 2 or less than 4. So we'll do another if statement, and if this low is greater than 2, we'll say 1.99, but put a bunch of 9s in there. Then we want to find out if it's less than 4. So if E3 is less than, so if E3 is less than 4, it's a 1. So we've asked it, is it greater than 2? If it says yes, it's going to have to give me another question if it's less than 4. If that's the case, I want 1, if not 0. And I'm going to have to put another 0 in here again, because I need a else for the original one. So I'm asking 2 if statements, so that's why I need that to be into play. So now if I want to copy this and paste this all the way over, what I'm going to have to do is just merely change these numbers, but E3 has to always stay into play. So therefore, when I'm going to be copying and pasting this later on, the number 3 is going to change, but the letter E is always going to be the same. So I'm going to put a question mark beside that, and that's used in computer programming for spreadsheets, so that when you copy and paste through other different areas, that it will automatically keep the letter. Now I'm going to manually put in all these numbers here. I'm going to change this from 199 to 399, and then change this to 8. And then same thing here, 799 on this one, and then 16 here. And then 50.99 here, and then 32 on this one. And this one is $31.99, and as if it matters, I'm going to put less than 64. Okay, so we got this line. Now, if I want to copy and paste this all the way down below, is this ready to work? As I got the E in question marks, the answer to that should be yes. I'm just going to put this in bold and maybe put underline on this. We'll format the cells, and then for borders, let's just put one on the bottom. That's that line. Let's take everything off. Oh, where's the bottom part of it? Only. I guess I just have to go like this. Make sure this is off, and that'll work. So there's the underline. It should work now if I copy and paste this all the way down to the bottom. And if I just paste a few, and it looks like it's good to go, so I'm just going to see how far I have to paste it down below. And this will work. So now what I'm going to do to verify this is put in a little statement here. I'm just going to ask for the sum of everything. And it's supposed to be 1 because only one of them can be correct each turn. And then maybe even put in here a little if statement. If this number is not equal to 1. When you put two of them like this, greater than and a less one, that means not equal to, then I'm just going to put in error, and then nothing if it comes up. So there's nothing. I'm just going to copy and paste this all the way to the top, and hopefully I won't see that error button come up anywhere. And as you can see, only 1. So everything seems to be working fine. And if you want to know what the error would look like, I can just merely copy and paste this here, and there we have it. It is not equal to 1 here, so that's why the if statement gave me an error. I really don't need this anymore. This was just to make sure that I didn't make any obvious mistake and some sort of calculations were wrong, and well, there's all the error messages. If you got a bunch, you don't know where, you know it's like 500 something, you can just type in, see on the top left where it says Q3 to Q15, I can type in a 6 or whatever, enter, push the backspace button, and it's all gone. Alrighty, so we got some data, but let's do some stuff with this now. First, let's get the sum of each one, but just so we can remember the numbers down below, let's copy this. Probably an underline again, but it shouldn't matter anyway. Yeah. So now we're going to do a sum of everything. So we'll find out how often it holds above a significant level. So $1 was 54 times. If we now take a look at $2, it held above it 52 times. 4, between 4 and 7.99, 299 times. Between 8 and 16 was 86. 16 and 32 is 33. And 32 to, well, 64, although it's never been past 50, is 8. Okay. Now let's do a little bit more. And this is where I'm going to do something that is a very tedious thing. If anyone knows any better ways of doing what I want to do here, please let me know. Okay, so now we want to find out the sum on a yearly basis. So we'll find December here, and so what we'll do here is we'll take, first we'll just put the date here. So I'm just going to tell it to equals this level here. So there we got the date in here, and we want to get the sum of each of the numbers. So we'll start off within the $1 one. And there we have it. Now, I don't have to keep on doing this over and over again because all I have to do is copy and paste this. How many rows do I got? I got 6. Just copy and paste this 5 times. Because what's going to happen is it's going to see the sum I to letter I, that is, in column S. And I'm going to copy it to 10, so it's going to automatically go to J, which is exactly what I want. So I'm going to copy this to 5 different columns. And there we have it. So again, this is shortly soon I'm going to show you where I'm going to show you my tedious thinking. So I'm going to take copy and paste this all the way from the 12 columns or 12 rows from here, column 3, all the way down to 14. And if I paste this all the way down, we'll just do a bunch of numbers just because we can, 599, and paste, then it's all going to be completed. Now here's the tedious part. So if I want to put this up so I can just go over the data very nicely, this is literally all I can do is just to put this in one row, that like a bunch of rows is just copy and not really copy and paste, but move. And I need to move it and not copy and paste it so that the formulas don't change. And then from this point on, we can do some data on a yearly basis for how often silver has held above significant levels. As the first few years of the 1960s, well, from 1969 to 1972, every single month it was under $2. I can see that just by looking at this data right now. And 1977, every single month, let me just put in the copy and paste the information up here so that it's easier to read. So there we go. So in 1977, every single month stayed between $4 and $7.99 as its lowest price, as was the case in 1978. In 1979, it had 5 periods where it stayed above 4, 5 periods staying above 8, and 2 periods staying above 16. And then in 1980, there was 1 month, only one time in the 1980 time frame, which I'm thinking was probably January, that the silver price stayed above 32 for the entire month. Now, how many times today, how many months today has it stayed above 32? I guess if you remember what the number was, that you could just do the simple math by 1 less than what it was. And there's 1981 where it stayed above 8 throughout the entire month. So this is a tedious work, just continuously highlighting. Now instead of highlighting just a bunch all at one time, stuff I can do is just go like, just move this. Didn't want to do that. So if I do that, I'll just push Control Z, which is the undo, and then just redo it. Very tedious. And now in 1984, 85, and 6, let me just move this up so you can see the numbers better. 84, 85, 86, the entire run was staying above 4, but below the 8 handle. And we'll just keep on moving this over. 1987, it stayed above 4. Now, that was the year they had a fake move to the upside. And it didn't last too long. That was months before the stock market had its crash. 1988, the entire time, staying above $4 an ounce, as is 1989. Now, 1990 is going to be an interesting period because you can see that 1 there. That means one time, 1 month, silver broke below $4 an ounce. One time. And it was only during 1 month. But in 1991, it happened 8 times. 1992, it happened 10 times. 93. I'm just going to stop moving them over again. This is 2 and 4, so 6 and 6. 94, it stayed above $4. 95, it stayed above 4. 96, same thing. 97, same thing. 98, same thing. 99, same thing. 2000, same thing. So when I talk about how it's like taking forever to moves to happen, I could just imagine how frustrated it would be for investors of silver at this time, just waiting and waiting and waiting. They know how money's created or currency's created, as an example. And boom, and then in 2001, it does another one of these moves where it breaks below $4 an ounce. Now, that was $3.98, but still, it was breaking below it. In 2002, it stayed above the $4 range, but not ever had a month where it stayed above 8. 2003, it never stayed above 8. Same thing with 2004. Look at all these years that it never ever stayed above 8, but always stayed above 4. That was a major range. Now, in 2005, it had 1 month where it held above 8, but again, 11, where it was between 4 and 8. 2006, the entire year, it stayed above 8. So that was a big change right then and there. Right then and there, to not have the $4 to $8 silver, wow. And then repeat in 2007, every single period above 8, but never holding above 16. In 2008, that changed. There was 5 periods where it held above 16, and 7 where it held above 8. 2009, not as good as 2008, but it's still, well, at least we're finished with this here, holding above the 4, but 10 at 8 and 2 at the 16 mark. 2010, there's a big change right there. 11 times it held above $16 an ounce. 11 times, and only 1 time that it dipped below it. And then 2011, we had 6 periods holding above 16 and 6 holding above 32. And these numbers are off, so let me see why that's the case. Maybe because of those numbers. Let me just take that off and it'll fix it. Or it won't fix it. It's 531 to 5. Okay, I see why. Let me just move this down to way here. This will definitely fix it. Okay, so that means we've had 3 months of staying above the level of 16 and 1 of staying above 32. And let's find this month. Which one? It was the month of February. We held above 32. Wow, this is 20 minutes, so I hope maybe you got something out of this or this information that I talk about. But again, as far as just continuously moving these things up, I don't know if there's an easier way to do it. But I've had to do this a few times just to put data together. So thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.